Wow. This. Alright. After watching Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, the one thing that came to mind was I can't believe this exists. I can't believe we were so lucky to get a movie, let alone a Scooby-Doo movie like this. Must say, someone over at Warner Brothers and Hanna-Barbera were cooking something. And it was delicious. Okay, whew. Alright, where to start off? Okay, let's start with the story of Zombie Island. Something that I really love that this film and some of the other and the two other films do after this one is how we get to see the gang as adults and just doing other things. Like we see Daphne and Fred host a talk show, Velma has an independent bookstore, and Shaggy and Scooby were working at an airport. And I really like this because it feels very reminiscent of life itself, like how we all like do this, like we all get to do like these great things, but eventually there comes a time where we're going to be going off doing our own things. And it's not as fun as like the good old days. I can really relate to that. And I'm sure a lot of other people can. Oh yeah. How can I talk about Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island without the supernaturalness of the story? The build-up, like the pacing and build-up to the realization that these zombies are real is just pitch perfect. Like with Moonscar's introduction, the soldier in the mirror, and then eventually when Fred takes the zombie's head off. It's also just a perfect demonstration of balancing tones. Like you have this supernaturalism horror in here, but you also have the kind of light-heartedness of Scooby-Doo to balance that out. That's something Scooby-Natural also succeeds at. Tone. Yeah, and just it's probably the best Scooby story we've gotten. Let's talk about the characters and their portrayals and performances. So, obviously, like I mentioned, Fred, Daphne, Velma, Shaggy, and Scooby are in their more adult years in this film, Witch's Ghost and Alien Invaders. And I love how Fred, Daphne, and Velma kind of become more like real people when it comes to their conversations. I hope I put it into words right. And you have Shaggy and Scooby like still like they still kind of are their normal selves. Like I'm gonna link it down below, but there was a YouTube video made by Billiam where he talked about the straight to video Scooby films. He brought up a good point in how Shaggy and Scooby still live in the Scooby-Doo world with like sound effects, inflating their stomachs, and of course, a talking dog. But yeah, like check his video out. He goes more in depth into these films and their themes better than you'll see in my reviews. Plus, he's an awesome guy. The performances are also just very well executed. Now, 11 months before the film came out, the original voice actor for Scooby-Doo, Don Mesnick, wait, hold on. Yeah, Don Mesnick passed away. So Who do you find to voice Scooby since the original actor's no longer there? Scott Anus. He does a great job with Scooby in here. I just love like the kind of, he just perfectly fits the role. And speaking of him, this is also the only straight-to-video Scooby of the first 4 straight-to-video films where he doesn't voice Shaggy. Instead, he's voiced by Billy West, who didn't return in the future ones because he went to work on a show you may have heard of called Futurama. I think he does a really good job here. I just love the kind of, when he does the more timid, scared voice. BJ Ward as Velma is also great. You can't go wrong with Frank Welker as Fred. And you have not good at remembering names. Mary Kay Bergman as Daphne. Like, all these actors give off such memorable performances, and it's no wonder like that they continue to be brought on for the next films. You also got Tara Strong, who I wasn't expecting in this film, and Mark Hamill. And they do great too. Okay, that's just the warm-up of my positives of Zombie Island. Let's talk about the animation. This is the first of 4 Scooby films to be animated by Mook Studios, which is based in Japan. And honestly, like, I just love the designs they give their characters and backgrounds and everything. Like, I read on Wikipedia that Warner Brothers was initially considering giving Zombie Island a theatrical release, and I would have loved that because, like, you can definitely tell this would have been made for theaters, given all the amount of detail, textures, and shading put into this. Mook really nailed it out of the park with this. And yeah, I also really fuck with the zombie designs. Like, they're just so amazing. And I also just love, like, how, like, the scared faces of Scooby and Shaggy when they first see Moonscar. And the voice actors really help deliver that to, like, being just such a brilliant moment. Alright, let's talk about the music. The music is just nothing short of incredible. So, these 4 films also have different renditions of the Scooby-Doo Where Are You theme. And for Zombie Island, they brought in Third Eye Blind to do it. I really like their rendition. But then you have the big boys. The Ghost Is Here and Terror Time Again. Just, those songs are so good that I was just singing along to them, like, whenever they showed up, because they're just so memorable. And they perfectly fit this whole movie. Like, It's Terror Time Again is just an S-tier song when it comes to the Scooby-Doo media. It's one of those moments that just gets you all just like, wow, this is just such a kick-ass scene. They went so hard on not only like the songs and scenes, but like just the whole movie. What else is there? There's just so much to unpack. Oh yeah, just how kind of like dark and violent Zombie Island can be. I saw snippets of this as a kid, like the climax, and I was just left feeling a bit timid and thinking, wait a minute, this isn't Scooby-Doo. But like, I just love it now for what it does. You know what? There's more I could say, but you already know it. Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island is the magnum opus of Scooby-Doo. So, how do they continue it? We'll just have to find out soon, won't we?